Hello, guys. Welcome back. I'm feeling super mellow right now, and I swear there's not alcohol in the meat that we made. I'm just feeling super mellow. We made that. It's going to rain, so it's kind of a Frere Thor thing, and we made fried chicken. We haven't made it in a while. We're trying to stretch out the chicken by making tons of soup, but we made chicken, and one of the things that came up in my newsfeed was like there's a chicken shortage now, and we were lucky we got the chicken when we did. When we have to shop from home because of my disabilities, because they're out of it again. Like they're out of the ground meat almost always, and therefore I spend more than I should when they finally have it back in. And I'm not trying to hoard. It's like I would like to have meat or chicken or something to eat at some point in time. So the gods will have her back on stuff. And I'm sure a lot of you are like, well, you got them all the horns, you got them all the furs, now what? The Hollywood version of that is that I bought Loki first and I bought him a horn, and he's going to come up to my door physically, knock on the door, and say, hey, I got kind of scared at what almost happened. He say, hey, here I am in physical form. I'm moving in with you. Here's $1 million. Let's live happily ever after. Let's travel the world like buddies, like in all those stories, all right? That's not going to happen. And if somebody would come to my door complain saying they are Loki, I would call the cops because that ain't Loki. It's the same thing if you ever meet the Buddha by the side of the road, etc., etc. It is not the real Buddha. It's kind of one of those things. He's not going to manifest, in my life. I can now though go forward. It feels like a lot of the stuff that was blocking me from full-time heathenry has been removed. And Odin is a kind of happy I don't have words for in the English language, because you can really tell the wolfen ancestry of that pelt. The fur's rougher than on the other coyote. It's getting softer now that's out of the bag and it's laid down, but it's a little bit rougher, and it might have been heavier fur to begin with, but you can see the wolfen ancestry in that eastern coyote. I mean, you can see that distinctive. Wolves have this distinctive kind of rough at the back. It's kind of hard to explain, but it looks like some kind of like rough where the fur sticks up and is a certain kind of hair, and it's got that wolfish pattern to it. You can tell these coyotes have wolf ancestry. There's no way of just saying those coyotes ate their vitamins. We tried the two pelts side by side. This coyote is longer and it's wider because Loki's like, well, mine's kind of wide. I'm like, yours was open, dear. This is a closed fur. He's like, oh. I'm like, if this thing would have stood up, as I told you guys in community tab, this thing would be face to face with me at least, and I'm like 5'4", 5'5", whichever one you want to go by. This is one impressive coyote that I'm like, I've never been so afraid of the animal that was inside a pelt before. Look, he's like, yeah. So it's big. You remember how big that coyote we showed you was? It's even bigger, and that was what Odin has been after me for forever. And I asked him to bring me around on that, and he did. But, to go into our topic, we have to work beside the gods. It's why sometimes some heathens bristle when you say work with. But I say work with so that people just don't sit on the rump after they've prayed or given a feast or something or held a blot and wonder why nothing ever happens. I prayed to Odin. I made offerings and said, please bring me around on hunting. Okay, he can open the way for me. He can, some people say he can loosen or strengthen bonds on the mind, whatever you believe. But I had to put the work in. I had to go and start watching hunting videos. And over the last year, over the last couple months, it's really accelerated. I had to start watching hunting videos from a place where I was okay, where it was like I figured out they were okay hunts. I wasn't going to see too much, to more and more, and watch more and more. I don't watch ones that I think they're just glorifying the yuck parts, because I respect the animals. But when it's done respectfully, I can watch anything now. I started watching trapping videos because I'm like, if I'm gonna have trap furs, I'm gonna have to watch this. I watched, fur farm videos where, usually they're they're treated like gods. I know there's always a bad apple in every barrel. I realize that. But that goes for anything. That goes for, free range chickens too. There's always a bad actor out there, but that doesn't mean everyone's bad. Um, and I got myself to where I was okay. And Odin being Odin, I was watching this guy's trapping video. He had a fox. And foxes are the most expressive animals in the world. And remember, we have 3 trapline foxes. And this fox is looking at the hunter real hopefully, and the little ears are going up and down and everything. And all these emotions are passing over the face, or not, if you think that's anthropomorphic, yeah, making an animal sound human. Yeah, and I can't speak today. And, I felt a little bad for the fox, but I thought, if he let that fox go, the fox might run into in front of a tractor tilling a farm tomorrow. It might run into a dog or get picked up by a hawk. It might run across the road. It might starve to death during the winter. It might live to old age and die a slow death. It might get the mange. A million different things are going to happen, could possibly happen to that fox, but I can guarantee you that fox isn't immortal. That fox is going to die at some point, and he's going to make the death swift. And this guy was checking his traps daily, so I was like, that fox wasn't there too long. Fox looked in great condition, didn't look hungry, didn't look dehydrated. Then he went up and he went to get the eastern coyote, and it was like seeing a werewolf trapped in there. It was the hackles were raised, everything else, and it was pretty scary. But I had to do that groundwork to get to the place where I'm comfortable with the furs. I don't feel bad. And they both keep testing me, coming over and going, "You're not going to do some kind of weird regression and like throw all of our furs outside and sob, are you?" And I'm like, "No, I'm okay with it." They dispatch the animals as quickly as possible because you don't want to ruin the end product, which is oh so soft. So for Odin's wolf, which is, well, Koi wolf, which is not Eastern Coyote, which is not quite as soft. Um, and I had to do the work. I had to do the effort. And then I had to do the final faith thing of spending the money on furs instead of pizzas or video games or, going out and buying extra, what to me was extra groceries like eggs and bread and stuff like that outside of the house at the gas station. And considering everything that's going around, it was probably a better proposition to buy the furs. And the furs are going to last a very long time. And the house smells beautiful. There's this combination of fox. I don't know that I am sensitive enough to smell the lone raccoon, but fox, coyote, coyote tail here, coyote in there, foxes in there, and eastern coyote and other coyote, they smell really different. It was like really interesting. So, I had to come around. I had to come around and I had to do the work. I had to, watch all the videos and everything. I had to go out and buy the stuff. Odin didn't. I just kept trying for years. Well, have it handed to me. He wasn't going to do that. I had to go buy the stuff, spend my own money, and now he has it. Now he's content. Now he's happy. Same thing with the horns. I didn't want to get the horns, and I prayed to them at one point. I said, "Okay, I don't want to get you these horns. I think it's like inviting, I don't know." I was like, I thought it's inviting temptation, and then I just thought it was like a brosa thing, and then I thought it was just like whatever, I don't drink. Why would I need a horn? From first sip, I knew why you need a horn. At least for me. Some people might do it and be like, "Ew, I don't like this." I love it. I love it. I'm not going back. I mean, I was told I could have 2 drinks, 2 pours into that horn, and then the gods were like, "Okay, that's enough. You got this kind of spiritual thing going on. That's enough of that. You've had enough. No more. You can drink the rest of the mead later." It's not alcoholic, but they're like, "No more for you. We're cutting you off." So, yep. But, I had to put all the work in. They helped along the way, but that's why I say working with too. You do have to work with the gods. You do have to work with the gods. I still serve them by buying them first, by buying the meat horns if they request, by doing the channel, by doing other stuff. But, I have to put the work in too. And one of the problems in heathenry is there's kind of this misunderstanding of um you give the gift and you ask Odin, for example, let's say you ask Odin or Loki, and you give them a gift and you say, I need housing or I need a job. Then you sit back on your rump and you do nothing. Now, you might have circumstances where you can't do nothing. I get that. You might have social anxiety. You might not have any resources to look for, say, a job or housing. I get that. Sometimes stuff happens. In that case, yes, the gods can go the extra mile, perform a miracle. But after you get that job or that housing, you might want to show your appreciation. But if you're totally capable of going and sending out resumes and going to interviews and or going and looking at housing and looking for options and stuff like that, and you don't, then the gods usually aren't, maybe in a rare case they will, usually aren't going to come through and do something. It's the same thing with anything else we want. If I want a successful channel, I can give offerings to the gods, and I do on the regular. And I can, there's an expression writing about killing your darlings. My video game videos were my darlings. I thought they would make the channel stand out. I thought they would be great. Turns out you guys just didn't like them. I had to let them go. We used to do all these music videos, which the meditation videos are the spiritual successor to. Those were okay. Not too many people liked them. I think we overdid the meditations for a while, so we won't do them again until somebody says, "Hey, you haven't done that for a while." Unless the spirit moves me, unless Loki moves me, we probably won't be doing this for a while. And I had to eventually, find out what's doing good. I don't look at metrics. I look at like a secret sauce I'm not going to tell you guys about, just to have that air of mystery. But I look at different factors and I say, okay, it seems like this is what people care about. I have to put that effort in. If I say to Loki, just give me 1 million viewers, and I never come back on again, and I never engage with you guys, and I never, do anything else, then, maybe eventually through YouTube being YouTube, I might have 1 million viewers, but it'll probably be 1,000 years from now. So I'm going to guess it's never going to happen, because I'm just going to guess that YouTube's not going to last 1,000 years. I'm not even seeing a century, and I'm not psychic, but I'm not seeing a century. Well, let's say it does. It lasts a century from now, and at the end of that century, have 1 million views. Great. I will not be here unless there's some kind of advanced genetics kind of operation you can get at like age whatever, because if you add a century onto my life, I'm gonna be 146. I don't think I'm gonna be here for that. So, I have to show up in my own life. As I've said before, show up in your own life, guys. You can ask Loki whatever you for whatever you want, but I will still always use the term work with, because you have to work with him towards a goal. If you want to become a better Lokean, stuff like that, ask him to help you and work towards that goal. So, we hope you guys found that one useful. If you like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. And again, a shout out to our members and patrons. You can find information to join below. And we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.